My men, this video is for you. It's for us. It's for all of us. And what I wanted to talk about today is male privilege and just how excruciatingly privileged us men are when it comes to life. I was watching some red pill content earlier just because sometimes it's astounding to see some of the points that red pillars focus on when they're talking about the horrific realities of being male, which usually is very focused on how females have an upper hand when it comes to selecting sexual partners. Like they have more options when it comes to selecting sexual partners. And I see these red pillars rage out on how a woman can run around and fuck anyone and they can have more sex, and isn't that just an outrage? Well, buddy, I'm gonna tell you, just the fact that this is the number one thing on your mind when it comes to feeling outcasted in a sexual way, or just the fact that this is the number one thing that comes to your mind when it comes to feeling like a victim, shows me just how fucking privileged you are, that not being able to have sex with any woman of your choice is just the worst thing. Oh my God, you poor thing, you. And it's probably the reason why you're probably struggling with finding a sexual partner too, because where's the empathy, guys? Where's the empathy, Mr. Sir? Because fact of the matter is, you're privileged beyond belief if your issue is that you can't get laid. If your issue is that you can't get laid, you are privileged beyond belief. Do you want to know why? Because that's not even an issue. I'll tell you what an issue is. An issue is getting pregnant. An issue is maybe not being able to afford that pregnancy. An issue is maybe not even being socially supported by your partner when you do get pregnant and decide to have the baby. An issue is being kidnapped. An issue is being physically or sexually assaulted. Those are issues. Those are situations in which you are basically kind of a victim. Your issue is that you can't get laid by any woman that you want. That is your quarrel with females. And this is why men sometimes become misogynist, because they can't get laid. They don't get that female attention. On the other hand, you have men who kind of pick the wrong type of female. They choose the one with the red flags, and then they end up deceiving them in some type of way. And then all of a sudden, all men are just horrible. All women are just horrible. No, guys, let's not allow ourselves to become misogynist. And how do we not allow ourselves to become misogynist? We have to recognize our privilege. And our privilege is that we can't get fucking pregnant. And that's a wonderful thing. Why? Because that means that basically it safeguards our financial well-being. It safeguards our biological well-being, because trust, being pregnant changes your freaking body biologically. I'm sure I haven't even done a Google search about it, but I just know that for some reason. I don't know. Being pregnant can fucking kill you. You know, being pregnant can change the trajectory of your whole life. No wonder why these women have standards when it comes to having sex, because the risk there is so much higher than your risk. And look, maybe I'm using the wrong tone, but man, bro, I just gotta spit, guys. The fact of the matter is that, men, we are privileged beyond belief, and let's not allow ourselves to become misogynist. And once again, how do we prevent ourselves from becoming misogynist? Well, we recognize the privilege that we have, the privileges that we have when we go into a hookup. The chances that you're going to be physically assaulted is very low. The chances that you're going to be sexually assaulted is very low. The chances that you're going to be kidnapped is very low, or maybe guilt tripped is very low, as opposed to a woman. A sexual encounter for a woman is so much more risky than a sexual encounter is for a male. You know, for instance, the average woman is gonna not be as strong as a male, and that's kind of scary. Have you ever thought about that? You know, before you think about, oh, I'm not getting laid. Have you ever thought about how, you know, literally just touching a male can change the person that you're hooking up with's life? No? All you're thinking about is, oh, you just didn't get to hook up with the other person you wanted to hook up with, and oh, life is so hard. See, guys, when we recognize our privilege, it acts as a it's a place in which we can actually practice gratitude more so than resentment and hatred, and it allows us to be happy with where we're at. Even if you're a guy that's not getting laid, you could still be happy. Why? Because you're not being freaking victimized in so many ways, and in so many ways you can't even be victimized. You not getting something you want is not victimization. It does not mean other people are evil too. So, the purpose of this video, let's expand our minds to think just beyond what we want as men. Let's think about the female's perspective. Think about a woman's perspective. Think about all the risks that they have to go through. Think about all the ways their life can change just by having physical contact with yours. Think about all the ways their life can change for the better, but most likely more so for the worse. So yes, this is how we take care of misogyny. We have to be able to widen our perspective and stop being so self-centric. It needs to stop. Right now, I am on an afternoon walk. In about 30 minutes, it will get dark. In about 30 minutes, I will no longer see women walking on this trail. Why? Because it's too dangerous. Why? Because men. I am privileged to be male because I can comfortably and safely walk on this trail with literally no anxiety. I'll be walking on this trail for 2 hours after I record this video, and I will literally have no anxiety. I mean, unless I see some weird activity, you know, but for the most part, I'm not going to have anxiety. I'm not going to be thinking about, oh my God, will I have to use my spray, my whatever the spray is, pepper spray, will I have to use my knife? Will I have to, no, I don't have to think about those things. Why? Because I'm a guy. Chances are I'm not going to get attacked. Chances are I'm not going to try to get kidnapped. So this is just expanding to another point. You know, it's like, yes, men can walk around at nighttime. We can enjoy things. We can go out. We can go to the bank. We can go really quickly to the store. We can walk across the parking lot. We can just function. We can just be in society. And we never have to think twice about it, versus women. After certain times, they do. They have those anxieties. And guys, once again, this is just an example of male privilege. I don't have to worry. I get to enjoy tonight. I get to enjoy this therapeutic walk, and that's a beautiful thing. And hopefully women find other ways to get therapy and to feel good. I'm sure they do. I'm sure their strategy is just as good as this, but it's just an example, guys. So, male privilege is so real, and oftentimes males will point the finger at women just because they have more options when it comes to sexual stuff, but they also have exponentially more risks. And it's something that I just don't see red pillars talk about. It's always just the basic surface level stuff, and never like the real life like risks that come or implications that come with that. So with that, I've shared my 2 cents, but I feel like we need to talk more on this subject because it's huge. And you know, I see these guys just like hate on women and have no empathy, and I feel it, bro. I've been there where it's like I felt rejected. I've been there where I felt ugly, unwanted, you know. and it's an ugly feeling, but you have to learn how to manage. The world does not revolve around you. You're not the greatest thing to ever be gifted to humanity. And it's just a matter of being able to, put your ego on a leash. And and recognize it's more complicated than that. It's more complicated than what you're perhaps making it seem. So with that, hopefully I widen some people's perspectives on this subject, and let's have empathy for women, men. Let's have empathy for their situations and actually take a hard, critical look at their situations, real life situations that they have to think about on a daily basis, that they cannot escape unless they were to grab a knife and cut certain pieces out of them. They cannot escape these situations. We, on the other hand, have never had to even think for a second about that fear or have that fear be a reality for us. And that is a privilege. Alrighty, guys. Take care. Peace and love. Oh, there's the heart. Peace and love.